Okay, this is the Cetacean Data Portal. There's a lot of different types of data in this portal, and there's a couple different ways you can go about finding data. So let's say I am unsure what type of data I want to use, but I know I'm interested in cetacean or marine mammal populations. So I can sort and select population data. This will take me to all the different population data sets that we currently have. You can see right now we have 359 different data sets. Maybe I want to look and see different years that we have data for, so I'm going to select sort by title. And here we have some sperm whale surveys. So if I click on this data set, it's going to open, and I can see here are all the different sightings during this survey. And if I click one of the sightings, a table pops up, and that'll tell me a little bit more about this sighting. So during this survey, this particular sighting was for a short-finned pilot whale, and there are about 5 in this group. So after opening up this data set, I think it's pretty interesting, but I want to learn more about what this survey actually was. The name was Sperm Whale Survey, so why am I seeing other species besides sperm whales? I can come over here and click on the More Info button on the left-hand side of the screen. And I get a brief little summary that says it's including sightings of cetaceans other than sperm whales. But I want to learn a little bit more about this data set, so I can click on View Full Details. And it takes me to this page, and I can read the summary of the data set. So I learned that during this particular survey, they were looking for sperm whales, but they also recorded any data they had about other species that they saw, and that's what's hosted in this data set. There are 211 records in this data set. And here are some of the attributes. I can see there's a bunch of different species names. I can see some data about the different species names. These are all abbreviations for the different species. I could create a map with this data. And then it gives me a couple other data sources that I might be interested in. But I'm going to go back to the home page. And all right, so now I've looked at some population data. Maybe actually I'm more interested in threat data. So I don't want to see exactly where the cetaceans are, but I want to see some more information about some of the anthropogenic or human impacts that they have. So there's a lot of vessel traffic data here. Maybe I'm not so interested in where ships are, but an oil and gas planning area. So this particular project actually arose after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, so maybe I'm interested in that. So I'm going to open up this data set. I see, okay, here are all the different areas that they are planning to potentially develop some oil and gas areas. So I'm definitely interested in this data set. It fulfills the needs for my project. So I'm going to come over here and I can click download for the data set. And now I have a couple different options. Maybe I want to download it as a CSV file. So this is going to be your spreadsheet, or a shape file, which is how you view it here currently on the map. It's really up to you and how your project is working. I'm going to go back again. So I'm going to keep thinking about population data. I have my oil data set, but I want to see what species could be more affected by oil development. And I think sperm whales are going to be the most effective. So I only want to see data sets that contain data on sperm whales. So I'm going to select my sperm whale data sets. And now I have 3 different data sets that contain information on sperm whales. So this data set right here includes tracking data of sperm whales. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see where I am. Okay, so this is all off the Texas coast right here. But if I look, okay, so here's a species that is bottlenose dolphin. Again, I'm only interested in sperm whales, so I'm going to come over here to the filter data. I'm going to select filter data, come down to species name, and I'm going to select sperm whales because that is the only species I'm interested in. So now if you look over here, you can see that some of the previous spots were shaded out. So these were all the other species that were cited, and the ones that remain are only sperm whales. And if I want to download this, I can hit download, and this is now only going to download the selected data, so only my sperm whale data. And again, you can download it in a multiple different ways. Within the portal, we also have featured data sets. So if you scroll down to the bottom, we right now have two different projects that are featured, the GOMAPS surveys and these habitat suitability models. So these are areas where I can expect to find a certain species. So I want to know where I might find spinner dolphins. So I'm going to open up this data set. And this is showing me areas that in white are areas that I'm very likely to find spinner dolphins. So I'm much more likely to find them right around this area, which is actually where the shelf break is. So they like to hang out around this area where the water goes from being fairly shallow to really deep, but not so much in the middle of the Gulf. I'm going to go back. And so we saw this data set earlier, GOMAPS. This project is one of the biggest American funded projects within the Gulf. So I want to see what data sets I can get out of this one. So I'm going to search for GOMAPS. And this now gives me all the different data sets that are coming from the GOMAPS surveys. So they can either do an aerial survey, which these are surveys from planes, but I want to look at the survey they did in 2017 from a boat. Okay, and there's a lot of different data points here. So I'm going to come over to the filter data button over on the left-hand side. And I want to look at the different species they have and just get kind of a general idea of where they're seeing different species. So I'm going to select styling, and this is going to change my style from these blue points over here. If I open up my legend, you can see right now it's just a point per sighting. And I'm going to come down to the name, and I'm going to have it sort by name. So now all these points are different colors based on species. I can see my legend changed. So there's some sperm whales that they saw, lots of dolphins, some other values. So these are just, there's 26 different values. So they saw 26 different species. That's a lot to color code. So this is going to sort by the most common. But if I come over here, okay, there was an unidentified small whale. If I want to look at this one, an unidentified odontocete, so that's going to be a toothed whale. But now, okay, maybe I'm doing a project where I am only interested in sperm whales. So I know there's a couple sperm whales here, but I think it's kind of crowded and kind of hard to make out where the sperm whales are versus other species. So I'm going to go over to my filter. Going to come down to vernacular name, and I want to filter out all the sperm whales. So I'm going to select this. Now, all the spots that are highlighted are all my sperm whale sightings. So I can see everywhere that they saw sperm whales, and everything that's a little bit more faded or grayed out are other sightings. So I can more easily distinguish between sperm whales or other sightings. But maybe I'm interested in where they saw large groups. So I'm going to come down to, I'm going to deselect the vernaculars. And so here there's a couple different ways where they track how many groups. So they make an estimate, and they can do a minimum estimate, so the least number, a maximum estimate, or the maximum number they think in the area, or the best is what they actually think it is. So we're going to filter based on observer counts best. I can see a lot of times, they only see one whale in the area, but I want to know what the largest group is. So I'm going to move this over to the far end of the spectrum. And I see over here is the one remaining highlight. So they saw a bunch of pan-tropical spotted dolphins. They do like to travel in pods or groups. I want to learn a little bit more about this sighting, so I'm going to click on it. And this table is going to pop up. This tells me all about this sighting. So I can see that they were on the right side of this pod of dolphins when they saw them, and that they think there is about 150 dolphins in this group. So that's a pretty large pod. So as you can see, there's a lot of different information that you can get from this site. There's a lot of different ways you can start to play with the data and explore the data. And finally, we have some information about the overall project. So if you were interested in this project and why this data portal was formed, you can learn about that as well.